back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're a new visitor. I am DeMarius Jackson, and on my channel I do a lot of videos on jazz and music and things of that nature. So if you're interested in videos, make sure you smash the subscribe button below, and you'll receive all those in your YouTube feed. On today's video, we're going to be going over how to play giant steps using just 3 major pentatonic scales. So we'll go over a couple of concepts, apply them to giant steps if I don't get hit in the face with my own mouthpiece, and stick around for the end of the video. I'll have a little play along demonstration on how you can apply those concepts to giant steps. So anyway, without further ado, let's cut straight to the video. All right, so there's a couple of things that we want to talk about before we get into jumping straight into using pentatonic scales over giant steps. So the first thing is what is a pentatonic scale? So I'll go ahead and write it down on the board. We'll use G as the example. So a G pentatonic scale, basically you're going to have the first, second, third, fifth, and sixth scale degree of the major scale. And once again, this is a G major pentatonic. So the notes in a G pentatonic scale are G, A, B, D, and E. So once again, G major pentatonic, we have the first, second, third, fifth, and sixth scale degree of the major scale. So this is a G major pentatonic. All right, so the next thing that we want to go over is 2-5-1. So as you know, giant steps is full of 2-5-1s. I'm just going to use A minor 7 going to a D7 going to a G major 7. This 2-5-1 is an example. So first things first, you want to see what pentatonic scale can I play over this 2-5-1. We're really going to try to simplify things down. And I'll just give it to you straight off the bat. You can play a D major pentatonic scale over this 2-5-1, and it contains, I'll call them non-offensive notes. So let's move on down here. I'll write an arrow. A D major pentatonic scale, we have D, E, F sharp, A, and B. So without, once again, I want to simplify things. So all of these notes, if I look at these notes in the context of A minor, these are all non-offensive notes. If you look, this is the 11, the 5, the 13, 1, and the 9, and if you will. Rewind if I'm going a little too fast. I'm trying not to make the video too long. And of course, these notes in a D7 chord, this major pentatonic, these once again, they're kind of vanilla, but yes, they all fit. And then once again, if I use these same notes over a G major 7, we have the 5, the 13, we have the major 7, the 9, and the 3. So a D major, not B, geez, D major pentatonic fits over a 2-5-1 in the key of G. So a very, very simple way of figuring this out is if you have any 2-5-1, you take the 5, which is a D, and then you make that your pentatonic scale. So if I were to have a D minor 7, I'll write it over here, a D minor 7 going to a G7, going to a C major 7, right? I could use a G major pentatonic, and it will fit nicely over these, this 2-5-1. All right, and so the next step within this little theory, if you want to call it that, is we can simplify it even further. So if you notice giant steps, not only does it have a bunch of 2-5-1s, it also has that 5-1 relationship. So if we were to cancel out the A minor 7 and just have a 5-1, a D7 going to a G major 7, once again, I can easily use the D major pentatonic. And just like I explained before, it would fit over this D, this 5-1. All right, and lastly, before we begin applying these concepts and theories over giant steps, let's look at one more chord. That's going to be a major 7 chord, which once we know that giant steps is full of major 7 chords. So let's take A flat, for instance, since I know that's in giant steps. We have A flat, major 7. To make it really simple, I'll just tell you an E flat. So the 5 of the major chord, if we take that E flat, right? E flat's the 5 of A flat, and turn that into a major pentatonic scale, that will work. So let's spell an E flat major pentatonic. We have E flat, right? We have F, we have G, we have B flat, and then we have C. All right, so let's look at how that relates and make it make sense. So E flat is obviously the 5. The F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the 13. Sometimes I have to count these out. The G is the major 7. The B flat is the 9, and the C is the 3rd. So all of those notes, they're, I guess, safe notes, if you will. Those will fit nice and comfortably, if I can say that word, over an A flat major 7. So take your major chord, make the get the 5 of that major chord, make that 5 your major pentatonic scale, and that will fit nice and easily over the major chord that we're trying to figure out. All right, so now that we have those concepts, let's move on into giant steps and input it into it. And then I'll play a little example at the end, and hopefully it will make sense for you. All right, so sorry, I'm really close to the camera, but I want to make sure that you can see this. So if you notice up here, I wrote giant steps in concert pitch. So we have giant steps in concert pitch. And now what we're going to do is talk about the concepts we just learned about before and apply them to the first 2 lines. I'll have a PDF or something down in the description. I'll draw one up on Finale so you can see the entire tune, but unfortunately, yeah, my board won't fit. So anyway, first thing we want to do is identify those major chords in the 2 5-1s or the 5-1s like we talked about before. So if we notice up here, we have B major 7. That's a standalone major chord. Here we have a D7 going to a G major 7. That's a 5-1. Once again, we have B flat 7 to E flat major 7. That's a 5-1. If you look here, we have A minor 7, D7, and a G. So we have that 2-5-1 relationship that we see here. Hopefully I'm not going too quickly. And then a lot of these repeat themselves. So you notice here, that's a 5-1. We have 5-1 again. And then we have another 2-5-1. So I have a marker in a different color. I just wrote all over my hands. And let's go ahead and apply the concepts that we just learned. So remember, any major chord, we can take the 5 of that chord and we're going to think of that major pentatonic. So the 5 of B major 7 is F sharp. So I'm just going to write it up here, F sharp. And just know that anything in green is going to be the major pentatonic scale, if you will. All right, so F sharp major pentatonic. Then we have this 5-1 relationship. Remember, we can use the 5 of the 5-1 and form that pentatonic scale. So we have D, right, major pentatonic. And if you notice, once again, we can use this over these 2 chords. So you can use D here, D here. All right, we have another 5-1. So here we're going to switch to B flat major 7, or excuse me, B flat pentatonic. All right, then we have another one, right? We have 2-5-1. So over this entire 2-5-1, we can use the D. So we'll write it over the A here, D major pentatonic. And then we'll go down, right? D is kind of continue because this is part of the 2-5-1. Once we get to this B flat 7, it's a 5-1 relationship. So we have B flat, major pentatonic. Again, F sharp going to B major 7. That's an F sharp, major pentatonic. And then notice right here, we have a 2-5-1 and the key of E flat. So remember, over the 2-5-1, we can use the 5. So we'll write B flat over the first part of the 2. So there we have it. Basically, I just used I used 3 pentatonic scales over the first half. And trust me, you'll see in the PDF that, all right, it doesn't change for the entire piece. So the whole concept here is you can use this pentatonic scale over this duration during giant steps. Now, it might seem a little janky. So what I did was, and once again, I didn't learn giant steps like this in a moment of transparency at all. I learned all these things after the fact, but different concepts help different people. So hopefully this will help you. Jerry Bergonzi has a very nice series of books on pentatonic scales. I learned a lot from that. I actually wrote my own book on pentatonics. It kind of has patterns in it like the Bergonzi book, but it also goes over concepts of how to use major pentatonics over chord changes. I have a link for that down in the description as well. So anyway, there you have it. Hopefully, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments section. I'll be sure to get to all of those. Hopefully, I didn't go too fast or too slow or tell you something you didn't already know. If this benefits you, please smash the like button. Send it to a friend that you think it might benefit them as well. I'll go ahead and cut to the clip of me playing it. Stick around for that. And then until next time, I'll see you on the next video.
4.